next video. In this video, we will be doing withdrawals. Okay, so we already know how to make deposits. We need to know how to make withdrawals. Um, let's write a function for withdrawals. Yeah. All right. Cool. Um, in typical fashion, we need to know we need an event so we can see these things. So we drew. Notice I always write this in past tense because it means something happened. Caller and you went to 5-6 months. Okay, so we're going to emit this, withdraw. It's going to be message sender. It's going to be this. Okay, cool. But yeah, so what do you think we should do when we're withdrawing? If you ask me, there's two things that we need to do. The first thing is we need to actually three things. First thing is we need to impose a restriction. A person shouldn't be allowed to withdraw zero, otherwise they're wasting someone's time. Yeah. So let's add our checks first. Don't allow zero. Okay. The next one is the amount they are withdrawing should not be greater than their balance. We've done this before on the previous logic, so I'm not sure if you have added it, but I need to show you here. So we want to require that this user balance, yeah, minus amount to withdraw is greater or equal to 0. Otherwise, invalid. Well, no, let's say cannot withdraw this amount. Cannot withdraw this amount. You get me? So basically, we cannot withdraw this amount. Yeah. So this is our check. The effect pattern is you want to when this time around we're withdrawing, yeah, so this should be minus. Okay, that's the effect pattern. The next thing that you want to do is the interaction. So the interaction would be my token. Wait, this time we're transferring, right? So there's a difference between transfer and transfer from, and you're about to learn the difference. So here we call transfer. We're transferring to the caller, sender. We're transferring this amount. This is it. So the difference between transfer and transfer from is this. Before you call transfer from, you need to call approve, because usually transfer from allows you to transfer from a wallet to a contract. Transfer allows you to transfer either from a wallet to a wallet or from a contract to a wallet. So I'm just going to write this down for you because, this used to confuse me a lot. So transfer from allows you to do from a wallet to a contract. That's why it has a from, a to, and an amount. Transfer allows you to do wallet to wallet or contract to wallet. So you can see this was wallet to contract, this is contract to wallet. So here, what we're doing is we're pulling from the contract to this address, this amount. Now, as you probably know, this function doesn't exist within my contract. It exists on the token contract. So we're calling it externally. And this is where external functions matter. If a function is not labeled external, you can't call it from another contract. It's like a phone number. If a phone number is not working, you can't call it. Putting the external makes it possible for you to call. Internal calls and private calls are like maybe you're within an organization, you're calling an extension, that sort of thing. But someone else from outside may not be able to call that extension directly unless the extension is exposed. Some depending on when you were born, you might not know what I just talked about. It just dawned on me. Yeah. So now let's do our withdrawal function. So what are we going to do? We're going to deploy a new contract. Obviously now, and this is why we should do tests. If I had tests, I would just redeploy everything, But now, we need to deposit some tokens in here. So this time around I want to deposit I need this 15. So this one. All right. Let's come here. So if you recall, you need to approve first. Yeah. So get the contract address, put it in. The amount 15. Okay. Done. You don't need to, but you can check if it's done here. It's done. So let's come to this. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to deposit that amount. Okay. Done. If you want to check the balance to confirm that the deposit has gone through, remember that we created something called balances, user balances. So let's check 15. And this is interesting. So the user balance that we store within the contract is 15. But if you copy the contract address and you come here, you can see it shows here that the recipient of the 15 is actually the contract address. So what's the situation looking like? This is what the situation looks like. So from the tokens perspective, the contract has 15 tokens. That's all it knows. If I put in like my account balance here, remember we drew 495 before. Now we drew on that 15, so it's down 20. So if I check this now, it's going to tell you that the balance is 480. So it doesn't know that the five the 15 tokens belongs to this wallet address. It doesn't know, which is the reason why we had to write a balances function within, so that we can internally account for it. Because in as much as we can call the contract state from this, we need a way to internally account for values within the space, you know. So yeah, from the tokens perspective, the contract has 15 tokens. But from the management from the management token contract perspective, the contract does have 15 tokens, but the 15 tokens belong to, let's say, Alice. Let's call it Alice because I don't want to paste the address there. So that's it. So imagine this is a bank. So for instance, this is the Bank of England, right? The Bank of England mints pounds, and they give the pounds to banks. Basically, well, I mean, one could argue that I'm not going to try and get into like the financial system and how it works. But in simple terms, the Bank of England creates money and assigns. So bank HSBC, um uh um if you want to if you want 200 million in tokens, I can give it to you. So I can give you 200 million pounds. HSBC is fabulous, yeah. And then when my salary gets paid, HSBC assigns me a portion of that 200. Technically, they're not assigning me a portion of the 200 million. What they're doing is they're moving money from, in quotes, one account in the central bank to another account in the central bank, which is kind of like me moving the tokens from like the wallet's address to the contract address. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I pay this person this amount. Boom. So when the central bank does not know that HSBC has like my account with them, only HSBC knows that. So this is what it is. So token has a general idea of who owns what, but the contract has a much more um fine, like, micro view of like ownership. So you can see now that we've deposited the money. Anyway, that's on deposit. So now we want to withdraw, right? On our withdrawal, we actually made a mistake. Um, okay, actually, we didn't make a mistake. I think we did it here. So let's try and withdraw using another account. What do we want to withdraw? Let's withdraw 7. Yeah. Oh, no, 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 that's a lot. Um, yeah, let's withdraw 7. So let's come here and put 7. Yeah, delete this. This is someone trying to steal your funds. Error. Uh, it's not letting them withdraw. What's the reason? It says the function should be called payable, blah, 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 blah. It's kind of ridiculous. Sometimes the error statements don't make sense. But basically, what it's trying to say is that I tried to run this transaction, but it's just not working. It's reverting for the wrong reasons. Yeah, and if I don't think error handling is within the scope of this course. If you want better error message, what you want to do is probably want to handle that scenario. So you want to try, and then if it fails, give it an error. But I'm not going to do error handling um, unless it's necessary. So let's then try to withdraw using the main account, which is this guy. All right. Same request. Can you see? So we've been able to withdraw, but the other guy couldn't withdraw. So obviously this is not the right error. I mean, it kind of bothers me, but I don't want to throw in error handling. If you want to see what error handling looks like, you can come here and see, test reverts. Where is it? Here, try catch. This is how you do your error handling. It's very useful. Try an action. If it doesn't work, say the reason why it fails. It's actually the best way to write contracts. And I think I just might do it into this course. A lot of people don't do it. I should probably tell you that. You can go on chain, you can look at contracts. They don't do it. But maybe we should. Because it doesn't make sense. This error message it bothers me. It doesn't tell you why it's failing. That's not how to fail. You should say why. So yeah. So now that we've done a withdrawal, let's confirm the withdrawal has been done. See, the balance has gone down to 8. And remember, we checked the user balance before, it was 480, right? So now it should be 487. So if you come back to the token here, check the user balance, 487. Can you see that? So we have successfully done uh deposit function, now withdrawal function. I want to say that that covers the scope of what we're going to do this week, because doing more might be too much for you, because this function that we just wrote allows us to deposit into our bank future bank contract, and also allows us to withdraw from our future bank contract. Now, within that bank contract, we're going to do things like deposits. We're going to we're going to deposit into specific pools. We're going to do things like we're going to withdraw from specific pools, and then we're going to do a lot of manipulation. Like borrow, for instance. When you okay, I'm going to stop this video and then we'll talk about that.